Welcome back, and we still continue on with Friday's edition of Morning at NTV. It's a pleasure to be in your company. Now, as we pick up the conversations of the day, one of the things that is critical, and it's something that I was earlier talking to you about, insurance is very critical to our livelihoods and the protection of our futures now more than ever. But of course, it has to be quality and it has to have good financial governance. And that is where we are actually planting our conversation. Started this morning and looking at the financial discipline and accountability all being at the core of any institution that is actually handling people's money. And in the insurance industry, you do have trust being at the bottom of all things. Now, when policyholders pay premiums, they are essentially buying a promise that when uncertainty does strike, the insurer will stand ready to support them. Now, recently, NIC General Insurance achieved ISO 9001-2015 certification, and this is an internationally recognized standard for quality management systems. But beyond that badge, what does this certification truly mean for financial governance? Also, does it translate into stronger controls, better accountability, and greater confidence for us as customers? Well, this morning we explore how global quality standards are intersecting with financial discipline and what this truly means for Uganda's insurance sector and the policy holder that it is serving. I am joined by Mr. Anthony Matovu-Lubega, FCCA Chief Financial Officer at NIC General Insurance Company, to help us unpack this, understand how this certification is going to be strengthening financial governance and accountability in insurance. Mr. Lubega, you're most welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here in NTV and to talk about insurance and finance.
Speaking of insurance, tell us more about NIC Insurance, General Insurance Company.
Thank you. NIC is one of the oldest, I would say the oldest insurance company in Uganda. And it began as a composite company that was managing both life and general insurance. And soon until 2005, where government now decided to liquidate the asset as an asset. And at the same time, it now became NIC Life and NIC General. So NIC General is that it provides general insurance, and NIC Life provides life insurance. And we have also NIC Holdings, which is the listed company that now mothers the two companies. So in one, you have three companies that actually now give financial stability and financial services to Ugandans.
Okay, so allow us to set the scene to the financial governance and the ISO certification. NIC General Insurance having recently achieved the ISO 9001-2015 certification. Now, in simple terms, we want to have a better understanding of what the company did to have the demonstration to earn this certification and why it should matter to you, the average policy holder. Mr. Lubega.
Thank you so much. In simple terms, ISO 9001-2015 is a globally recognized standard for quality systems management. As NIC, to achieve this, we had to document, one, our processes, and structure them and be consistent with continuous improvement. Therefore, NIC doesn't not just rely on promises, but we rely on systems. And as a customer for us, reinsurance is something that we deal in with as an insurer to operate with discipline and transparency, more so accountability.
Okay. As the CFO, financial discipline is definitely critical to your role. And now, how does the quality management certification like this one practically connect to financial governance within an insurance company?
As a CFO, ISO is not just an operational tool, as you may look at it, but we look at it as a financial control framework, enhancing strategy. A strong financial performance comes from controlled processes, more so reliable data, accountability at every level of the organization. So ISO ensures, one, that revenue is properly accounted for and recognized. Two, claims are assessed consistently with the regulatory requirements. And lastly, costs are monitored and optimized, which is core for the investor and the people that insure with us. At the iceberg of all this, strong finances are a reflection of a strong system.
Now, speaking of financial strength, we want to look into governance and accountability. Insurance is fundamentally built on trust. Customers out there are paying today for protection tomorrow. And so we want to find out how is NIC's governance framework ensuring that this promise is not just a financial promise, but also backed by strong reserves and also sound controls.
Thank you, Naroga. Backing the insurance promise is key for us as an insurer. As you said, we sell the promise and come off to honor that promise at the time of eventuality. Insurance is built on trust, more so as it is. And that trust must be backed financially. We could say NIC is one of the insurance companies that has a very strong balance sheet, and that is prudent and publicly noticed. As NIC, we ensure through three key areas. One, strong capital adequacy, which is the most prominent and key requirement by the regulator, and it drives that to see that we are strong in that. Prudent underwriting practices. As you may see, we don't overpromise, but we underpromise and over-deliver. Reinsurance with global partners to make sure that your risk that you are honoring with us is now prudently protected, and we could honor that at the time of eventuality without any inefficiency. Strict regulatory compliance, which will keep us in business and make sure that we are there for you when you actually need us. At the iceberg of what we have to look at as an insurer and as an NIC, at every premium we receive is a responsibility, and we are prepared to honor.
Okay. Yeah. Now, still speaking of governance and accountability, I know that you do have the supervisory regulator, Insurance Regulatory Authority, that has increasingly actually implemented risk-based supervision. How has this shifted and influenced your internal financial controls as well as the financial risk management systems?
Thank you so much. And at this moment, I want to thank RA for this shift in terms of regulatory supervision. I think it's changing the game in the insurance sector. And I would love to say that we have enhanced risk-based supervision as a positive evolution in the industry. More so, internally, we have strengthened three key areas: risk assessment framework, which is key for us to manage your premiums and honor the risk at the time of eventuality; capital modeling aligned with risk exposure. It is a new thing that most insurers now need to embrace, because we look at the future based on what we call current events. Internal controls and reporting. Prudent reporting enhances a way that an insurer is able to actually show the public, show the customer, that we are not just hiding information from you, but actually we are managing your finances and managing your premiums promptly.
Okay, some critics are viewing the ISO certification as more of a branding exercise than an operational transformation. From a CFO's perspective, how would you respond to this?
ISO standard, ISO achievement is not just a marketing badge, as you may look at it from a simple term, but it's an operational discipline that is independently tested. For you to be ISO certified, you have to undergo you have to undergo your documents have to be document processes, measurable performance, undergo regular audits. This is part and parcel of your life when you become ISO certified. And more so, you cannot fake ISO. Your systems must work every day. It must be part and parcel of your culture when you're ISO certified.
Your systems must work every day. They must be reviewed on an annual basis. How is the ISO certification that is requiring consistent improvement from a financial governance standpoint actually going to be reflected in NIC's commitment year on year?
That is very key for us as NIC. ISO certification is not just a time achievement. As you must say, I could look at it from a determined perspective that I'm a global winner, and then I don't have to go back and maybe look at it. But more so, it is a requirement that requires continuous improvement, as you said it. And in that, for you to achieve that, means you do what we call a periodic review and refine financial controls. This is now the culture that you're bringing into the company, you're bringing to the sector. Improving reporting accuracy. You're not overstating your premiums, or not overstating your revenue, or overstating your profits. but you must be accurate and you must do this with a lot of discipline. Identify inefficiencies that make you fail to achieve those key areas that you promised your client. And more like so, train teams and be accountable to see that you achieve the given goals and the standards requirements.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Lubega, away from NIC, looking at the industry overall, insurance penetration in Uganda is continuously relatively low. To what extent do you think transparency and financial governance are influencing public confidence in uptaking insurance?
It's absurd that insurance penetration is quite low in Uganda, and the key driver to that is transparency. And I want to thank the regulator on this point, that he has structured to see that every insurer actually publishes its financials and reports its financials on time. This is key for us, and I want to thank RA for this. ISO certification sends a strong signal that, one, our processes are independently verified. So when you're ISO certified, it means that time to time, your processes must be reviewed and must be adequately verified by an independent assessor. Our reporting is reliable. It means that whatever we are reporting on to in terms of our operations, in terms of our finances, in terms of what CSR we are doing, it must be reliable. Our operations must be accountable. There's a say that insurers don't honor their claims when it comes to that, and I'm telling you this. If you're ISO certified, it's part of your culture to honor a claim when it comes to you, because that claim is the promise that you actually gave to the client when it was sincere. And putting that in a sum, that trust grows where transparency is visible. So RA has put that out there, and NIC is at the point of the front to see that we are transparent and we are visible in the market.
Okay, speaking of trust, we want to trigger the trust of our audience this morning, Mr. Lubega. For a small business owner that is watching us today, or an individual who wants to uptake insurance, and they are still watching us, but have been having a continuous hesitation. Every time they meet a broker, they're like, but, so many buts. What does financial accountability at NIC look like in practice?
For any business owner, I will not look at small business owners as alone, but I look at every business owner, whether small or big or medium or multinational. For anyone to consider insurance, I would say that you are buying a product. You are choosing a financial partner. I would say, besides just buying the products that I'm selling to you, the service that I'm selling to you, the biggest part of it that you're choosing a good financial partner. That partner that will come through when you actually need that partner to come through. At NIC, we look at 3 key areas of 4 in say, your premiums are properly managed. When you manage properly premiums, it means you are able to meet that commitment, that promise that you gave to the client. 2, your claims are fairly assessed. Remember, when the eventuality happens, there is an assessment that is done on the eventuality, so that we carefully come through to meet that promise. And lastly, the risk is responsibly covered. We have seen areas where the client is complaining about the insurer didn't come through 100%, didn't come through maybe to cover the whole claim. But I would say, through the assessment, we are carefully making sure that the risk in there is properly managed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in business. And I would say this, that with us, accountability is not just a statement. That is for NIC, but it is a system, it is a culture.
All right. Now, speaking of systems and cultures, beyond the ISO certification, what is the next frontier for NIC to strengthen the financial governance, the accountability, as well as transparency?
True. As NIC, ISO is a foundation for to see us grow and get into this journey that we feel that it will be able to enhance a number of things for us in terms of our strategy as a company, and also in terms of growth in the industry. And we're looking at digital transformation to improve our transparency and turnaround time. And these are the key things, I think, as NIC turned around in a few years ago and right now. Advanced analytics, we need to be able to analyze for our clients timely and probably give them their risk exposure timely as well. So we're also looking at enhancing governance frameworks aligned with global standards. So we're not looking at only 9001, but we're looking at achieving other ISO standards that are within our reach. And I will look at it from a strategic point of view. Our ambition is not just to meet the standard, but to set them as the forefront of the industry. Okay,
that being said, the industry is watching this morning. What would be your call to action and your closing remarks?
For any insurer today in the market, I would say we need to be prudent, and we need to understand that the clients out there need us. For a client that needs insurance products, we need to sell beyond just the promise, and we need to come through when the eventuality happens. But above all, we need to be the best financial partners to see that the industry can grow out of whatever market share or whatever size it is right now, just that at every Ugandan, at every level, can have an insurance package. And that's why the economies grow. And that's where we can grow from the middle economy to where we need to be as an economy.
All right, a CFO NIC General Insurance Company, and that is Anthony Matovu Rubega. Thank you so much for making time with us and allowing us to come into your world. They have officially attained the ISO 9001-2015 certification, which simply means that you are definitely going to be having accountability that is systemized, accountability that is a culture with NICE, because trust grows where accountability is visible. So financial governance may sound technical, but at its core, there must be trust, and trust when individuals and businesses invest in insurance. Institutions behind that promise should be stable, accountable, and transparent. ISO certification, as we have heard, is not just about a process. It is about building systems. It is about strengthening discipline, improving oversight, and of course, enhancing customer confidence. And in a market where insurance penetration remains low, these are steps that could play a critical role in bridging the trust gap between the insurer and the public. Many thanks to the CFO of NIC General Insurance for bringing us up to speed and shedding as much light on the importance of global standards in reinforcing financial accountability in Uganda's insurance sector. That brings us to the end of this conversation, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.